Among all observations, it is the observation of thinking that is the most important that can be made. And with an honest effort, every normal person has the ability to observe their thinking. It is important because in our thinking we are observing something that we ourselves originate. With other things, we at first face something strange and foreign to us, but with thinking, we face something that we immediately know because we produced it. We know how our thinking came about, and we see clearly its connections and relationships. Choosing to think puts us on a firm foundation from which we can reasonably hope to seek an explanation of world phenomena. The whole of human knowledge can be based on the principle, I think, therefore I know. All other things and events other than thinking are independent of me. I cannot be sure whether their existence is true, illusion, or even a dream. There is only one thing that I know with absolute certainty, my thinking, for I myself bring it into its certain existence. I can only speculate whether thinking has another ultimate origin. Maybe it comes from God or from somewhere else. I cannot be sure.
One problem is that most of the people who teach mindfulness, and I know many of the great Vipassana teachers in the West and in the East, and have immense respect for these people. I learned to meditate in a traditionally Buddhist context, but most people who teach mindfulness are still in the religion business. They're propagating Western Buddhism or American Buddhism. I think we have to get out of the religion business, that whatever is true about mindfulness and meditation and any introspective methodology that will deliver truths about the nature of consciousness is non-sectarian. It's no more Buddhist than physics is Christian. We're just talking about turning consciousness upon itself and what can be discovered by that process. These features of our minds can be fully tested and understood without believing anything on insufficient evidence. So it's true to say that despite all the spooky metaphysics and unjustified claims within Buddhism, you can get to the core of it without any faith claim and without being intellectually dishonest.
While everything else is open to doubt, I know that my thought exists just as I observe it. If I am certain that thought exists, I can be certain that a thinker also exists who produces the thoughts. So I say, I think, therefore I exist as a thinking being.
What am I? A thinking thing. That's what Rene Descartes believed. But how did he get there? Descartes asked, what, if anything, can I know for certain? He decided he couldn't rely on any evidence acquired from his senses, since they sometimes misled him. A straight stick can look bent in water. In the past, he'd mistaken the shape of objects in the distance, and so on. Worse still, whilst sleeping, he sometimes dreamt he'd woken up. So how then could he be sure he wasn't dreaming now? But hang on, surely 2 + 3 = 5, even in a dream. Descartes, a mathematician, wouldn't get that wrong, would he? Even here, Descartes realized he couldn't claim absolute certainty, for what if an evil demon was in control of his thoughts, manipulating them so that every time he added numbers together, he made a basic error? Where would that leave him? There would be nothing he could be sure of, just a whirlpool of doubt. Descartes' lifebelt was the realization that even if such a demon existed, it couldn't deceive him about his own existence. Every thought, no matter how unreliable, proved he existed as a thinking thing. He could be more sure of that even than that he had a body. This is his famous cogito argument. I think, therefore I am. Cogito, ergo sum.
As a thinker, my existence is not determined by someone or something outside. Rather, I grasp myself in my very own individual thinking activity. Let's further examine what it means to grasp oneself in thinking. The simplest assertion I can make about something that enters my experience is, that it exists. For example, I see an alien. We do not know right away whether an experienced event is a series of perceptions or if it is a dream or hallucination. Is the alien real or a hoax? The existence of things needs to be further defined in more detail. I will need to study the alleged alien. I will need to study the object's relationship to other things before I can decide in what sense it exists. Does the alien have a heartbeat like other creatures? Yet from this, I learn no more than how it is related to other things. I find that the alien is related to all creatures who have a heartbeat. My inquiry reaches firm ground only when I derive the reason of existence from the object itself. I can ask who the alien is and why is it here. I know who I am, for I am characterized by the self-determining and self-dependent content of my thinking activity. As a thinker, I derive the reason for my existence from myself. From here I can go on to ask whether other things exist in the same or in a different sense. Does the alien think and produce his own rational thoughts? If the alien is told what to think, then he is different than me. By having a heartbeat, the alien is similar, and it is different by not being able to think for itself. In this way, I relate myself to the alien.